Nigerian Shippers Council, NSC, and the National Insurance Commission, NICOM, have joined forces to address the concerns of shippers with regard to the retention of container deposits by shipping lines. This is through an initiative that seeks to mitigate risks and result in a win-win for shippers and shipping lines. It also opens up a new vista of business for insurance companies. Discussions have been ongoing since last year. How far? That's the main subject on today's episode of The Shipper. We also have the usual tidbits from all around the globe. You're watching The Shipper, the flagship program of Nigeria's maritime sector. It's brought to you courtesy of Nigerian Shippers Council. My name is Rekia Zikru Yagboyaju. I'll be back shortly.
Nigerian Shippers Council, they to serve you well. No matter the problem, we go solve them for you.
Yes, so the Nigerian Shippers Council, they feel in a parole now for every level. And as soon as goods, they move from port A, go enter port B with a measure within on a need. For the Nigerian Shippers Council, we don't sharp proper to fit hear you wella, work with you wella, and help you fit serve your customers them better, no matter where them day. As we country port economic regulator, the Nigerian Shippers Council get every now to fit make government consider the problem where shippers them they face. Visit we office for number 4 or to buy your daily show your daily lane. Papa, email us for nsc@shipperscouncil.gov.ng. We website now www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
For you, we dey gidigba,
Nigerian Shippers Council with a meeting for the port of Nanid.
There are strong indications that risk associated with container deposit will soon be a thing of the past. This is because Nigerian Shippers Council, working with relevant stakeholders in the industry, is concluding arrangements to replace container deposit with insurance.
Well, we have a lot of challenges regarding the container deposit. If the Shippers Council can be of help to introduce a cargo insurance, I think that one will alleviate some of our problems. Because you discover that when you pay your deposit, it is highly difficult for you to get it back. But if insurance is put in place, so automatically they will take care of that. And you know the moment you return your container, there won't be much problem. I believe there should be a kind of package that will involve in this aspect of cargo insurance by the Shippers Council.
It's just a kind of a cover. It's a cover for the transporter, it's a cover for the clearing agent and every other all concerned. I don't see it as a bad thing.
This was made known at a meeting between officials of Nigerian Shippers Council and the National Insurance Commission Technical Committee in Lagos. Lucy Ulube tells us more.
Container deposit is a specific amount a shipping firm charges an importer as guarantee to ensure the return of the container after goods are discharged. These charges are determined by the size and destination of the container. Over the years, failure by some importers to live up to the term of the transaction has often led to disagreement between parties with negative impact on the ease of doing business. It was on the heels of this unwholesome practice that the Economic Port Regulator, Nigerian Shippers Council, decided on insurance as a way to resolve problems associated with container deposits. The focus of the meeting between the NSC and the National Insurance Commission, NICOM, was to examine the progress report of the technical committee saddled with the responsibility of developing modalities for the takeoff of the scheme aimed at resolving disputes around container deposits. The Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shippers Council was represented by the Deputy Director, Market Analysis and Tariff Administration, Margaret Ogbonna, at the meeting.
We are not actually looking at insurance policy as a key factor, but the Nigerian Shippers Council, as the economic regulator of the port industry, is interested in ease of doing business. And ease of doing business is not just the efficiency and effectiveness of transactions through the port, but also the cost of doing business. And we have observed there is a particular cost that can be taken away from the business environment. Having carried out a little study to understand that deposit is just a sanction of making the users of the container to return the containers back to the owners of the container, which is the shipping company. And the cost over the year have translated to quantum of money in billions of naira taken away as container deposits.
She told the gathering that despite resistance from some stakeholders, especially shipping lines, the committee has made remarkable progress.
We had that engagement for the users of the container, the main operators of the users of the equipment, the freight forwarders, the shippers themselves, and the haulage carriers who have one thing or the other to deal with the container, to have this engagement, and then to look at what are the flashpoints for risk delay if insurance is going to come in. So when it comes in, it is a packaged product, a specialized product that the industry will actually enjoy.
Co-opted member of the technical committee and former assistant director insurance of the NSC, Bola Ogunlolu, said that through engagement and persuasion, the shipping companies have expressed their readiness to partner with the council and see the scheme commence in the country.
Yeah, it's going to be a very fantastic policy if we can, the scheme, if we can really put it up. Because so our concern is that since the shipping companies are end-bent of having to have a deposit, so that as a mitigation factor, so that whenever anything happens to their container, the shipper will be in a better position to be compelled to return the containers to them.
Representative of the Nigerian Insurers Association, NIA, Soji Oni, commended NSC for its foresight and pivotal role in introducing insurance to the maritime sector. He advised stakeholders to rise to the challenge of ensuring the success of the scheme, which he noted will help sanitize the industry.
We all know that the whole world risk management mitigation is always the best. Methodology is always the best. So this is one of the things that we have looked at when Nigerian Shippers Council approached our regulator, NICOM, and from there, NICOM introduced them to NIA, that means the operator. NIA, Nigerian Insurance Association, is the umbrella body of all insurance and reinsurance in Nigeria. And we look at it, and we already work on them. We've started the policy. We start working with them based on some of the explanation we got from the Nigerian Shippers Council, and we felt there is need for us to meet with all stakeholders.
Mr. Oni provided clarifications on concerns raised by participants and added that the technical committee will do a thorough job on the task given to it in the interest of all.
That money, find out, does not even solve the problem. Because what is 100,000 you collect to the value of the container, for example, if the container is damaged outrightly, total damage. So what is the money compared to the liability? It's not covering the liability. So they were collecting the money, not addressing to pay those that are affected in the chain. For example, they only protect themselves, collect the 100,000 for the shipping company. What happened to someone that the container fell off, the property destroyed on the way? What happened to them? Who compensate them? So we're looking at compensating the whole chain of the economy. That is why it is better. It's going to be a whole chain. So it's not only one segment of person that is being protected, but the whole chain of person, the third party is protected, the owner of the container is protected, the regulator's image is protected, and everybody is happy.
One thing is to formulate a policy. The other one is to implement. Our major constraint is implementation that we're facing, and everybody is paying for the price.
I support whatever solution there should be to give comfort to shipping companies that their containers will always be returned. As I said, the reason for why container deposit came in, I don't think it exists right now again, because we have a lot of automation of processes, of services from even government agencies that we have to deal with. And what automation means is there's a traceability. You cannot hide. You will be found out. So I don't think those reasons for container deposit still exist. Moreover, they waive this deposit for some group of companies. So if they can waive for a particular set of people, they can waive for all.
Recall that when the management of the council visited the Commissioner for Insurance, Sunday Thomas, in Abuja, the Commissioner revealed that he had been looking forward to the collaboration between the two organizations on how to make insurance significant in the maritime sector. He said the Commission would look into establishing a committee with both agencies to work out modalities of reducing cost of business at the ports.
There are two major classes of marine cover when it comes to cargo. We call them by class. That is the Class A and Class C, largely. Class A relates to goods from warehouse at the point of takeoff to warehouse at the destination. We have the other Class C that goes from port to port. Port at the point of commencement of transaction to the port at the destination. And what the difference makes, the difference is the goods in transit, largely. The goods in transit relates to, can I call it on the ground, transportation of these goods, largely. Then looking at the Shippers Council, right now, it is generally assumed that the compulsory marine, the import that is mentioned in the law relates to port to port. That's the cheapest form of marine cover. But those that are wise, I would say, or prudent, as you may call it, they do warehouse to warehouse. In which case, once they move your goods from your warehouse, you can go to sleep. You know that it will get to the warehouse, or you remain protected until the goods gets to destination. But with the Class C, you can't be too sure. If anything, if it gets to the port safely, what about from the port to the warehouse? Anything can happen that will make the cover of port to port not quite relevant. Because if you are coming from, let's say, from Switzerland, you have imported goods from Switzerland, it gets to Lagos port, and you are going to Onitsha. And between Lagos and Onitsha, the goods, of course, the insurance stops at Lagos port. Now, from the port to Onitsha, if anything happens, the cover between Switzerland and Lagos port is a waste.
That committee was inaugurated on the 3rd of August 2020 by NICOM and the Nigerian Shippers Council.
It's been quite a voyage since this discussion started last year in the midst of the still raging COVID-19 pandemic. It looks like the end might just be in sight. COVID-19 or no COVID-19, life goes on. That's how humanity is wired. It's now time to join Abike Idowu on the Tidbit segment of the program.
It's Tidbits on your favorite maritime program, The Shipper. I am Abike Idowu. The Executive Secretary and CEO of the Nigerian Shippers Council, Honorable Emmanuel Jimmy, has called for greater collaboration among relevant government agencies to enable the country derive the full economic benefits of the maritime sector. He made this statement during a courtesy visit to the Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, Dr. Bashir Jamo, in Lagos recently. He commended NIMASA for placing fleet expansion at the heart of our efforts to encourage indigenous participation in the maritime industry, stressing that there was no better time to have a national carrier than now, when the world was gradually looking away from fossil fuels, the current mainstay of the Nigerian economy.
This visit is the beginning in my chapter of ensuring that during my time here as Chief Executive Officer of the Shippers Council, that the progress that has already been made with regards to how the agencies have interrelated and cooperated, that we continue along those lines in order to further the partnerships that we have.
Tidbits today celebrates Emmanuel Odogun of the General Service Department of Nigerian Shippers Council, NSC, who has retired from service, having reached the mandatory public service retirement age of 60 years. Odogun joined Nigerian Shippers Council on 4th November 2002, 19 years ago, and through hard work, commitment, and dedication, he rose to the position of Chief Technical Assistant. Accolades were poured on him by the colleagues at the retirement party held in his honor.
You are just beginning life. You will continue to enjoy. You will enjoy your gratuity. You will enjoy your pension. You are training your children will train you. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ. And to Emma we say, hip, hip, hip. Hooray! Hip, hip, hip. Hooray! Hip, hip, hip. Hooray!
Here's wishing him a restful and happy retirement. Let's now head on to global maritime news. Concerns over port congestion and container availability were already rising before the Suez Canal blockage by Ever Given. The COVID-19 pandemic was already putting pressure on worldwide seaboard trade before the container ship ran aground. Pawan Joshi, Executive Vice President of Product Management and Strategy at logistics software company E2Open, explains that changes in consumer behavior, triggered by people spending more time at home due to the COVID containment measures, led to an increase in demand for goods from Asia and helped spark a sustained 20% increase in ocean shipping volumes. That shift meant the global trade sector was already in a weakened position when the canal blockage occurred, and so existing disruptions were aggravated. Containers are in the wrong place. There aren't enough vessels to pick them up, and ocean schedules are completely upside down, Joshi says. Of course, the canal blockage has been cleared and backlog of containers are engulfing major container ports around the globe. However, a pile-up of containers north of the Suez Canal does not necessarily mean ready availability for exporters in North Africa and Europe. Container Exchange Chief Executive Johannes Schilingmeier says it is increasingly difficult to book export containers with European carriers as shipping lines are prioritizing empty containers in order to move the boxes back to China as fast as possible. In effect, it is proving more cost-effective to ship empty containers to Asia than wait for them to be filled by exporters in North Africa, Europe, or the Americas. That has created high competition for container space amongst these exporters, resulting in rising freight rates. Alan Murphy, Chief Executive of maritime consultancy firm Sea Intelligence, tells GTR that spot rates from Asia to North Africa appear to have been trading at a premium of 20% above Asia-Mediterranean average rates since late 2020. With that said, I imagine you now understand why you've been seeing a hike in the prices of goods generally. And now our complaint register for the week. A total number of 11 complaints were received and they are all ongoing investigations. The complaints include refund of container deposits, demurrage waiver, unfair storage charges, and container deposit refund. From time to time, the Maritime Anti-Corruption Network's help desk receives and forwards complaints to the Nigerian Shippers Council, and statistics compiled for the month shows that the total vessel pre-arrival notification is 21, with just 2 complaints received. These 2 complaints involved improper documentation for crew members. The maritime industry sure is gradually improving, but we can make it better if we all play our parts. For instance, you know that as regulated service providers, you need to register via the website www.shipperstradedata.gov.ng. Do not forget. And that's it on this week's Tidbits.
We meet you at the point of your need.
The Nigerian Shippers Council is now better poised with responsive systems in place to help you and other shippers get seamless, stress-free transition for your clients' goods from point A to B. Today at the Nigerian Shippers Council, timeliness, orderliness, transparency and efficiency is all we care about. Put your complaint through to our helpline. Visit us at number 4 Ayodele Shoyode Lane, Apapa, Lagos, or reach us on www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the point of your need.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the port of your needs.
Welcome back from the voyage around the world with Abike. All too soon, it's time to drop anchor and bid you farewell. Until we meet again next time for another exciting episode of The Shipper. Until then, some advice for all regulated service providers. We urge you to register on www.shipperstradedata.gov.ng. Goodbye.